modernist exodus as Imperial lockdowns continue. The Empire has... CD34G Carina, Baltazina, Betis, CD393269, Chunna, HIP 39470. Luzihuances and Nahuatl have evacuated en masse to avoid arrest. There are eyewitness reports of people crammed into whatever vessels they can find, often in unsafe numbers. Vox Galactica featured this statement from Dr. Jenna Fairfax, a Marlinist community leader and advocate of democratic reform. This isn't a search for terrorists, it's a crusade against anyone who shares Marlin Duval's dream of a republic. Such brutal persecution leaves us no choice but to risk our lives by seeking sanctuary elsewhere. In the Senate, a handful of senators voiced concerns about the treatment of imperial citizens, to which Denton Patrias responded. The security of the Empire is paramount. These worlds harbor a ruthless enemy that has already slaughtered thousands. We will not rest until the neo-Marlinist poison has been cleansed, even if that means tracking down everyone who may carry this infection. The Imperial Navy is searching for all ships transporting Marlinist refugees. There is evidence that some have reached systems controlled by the Federation. Thargoids return to Witchhead Nebula. Pilots Federation alert. Thargoid vessels detected in Alliance-controlled systems within the Witchhead Nebula. The Thargoids have reappeared in the Witchhead Nebula and are swarming in large numbers through the Oneros, Lembus, Haki, Wellington and Shenvei systems. 16 systems within the nebula were colonized last year to form the Witchhead Enclave after a successful initiative to locate fresh barnacle sites. This initially triggered a hostile reaction from the Thargoids, but their presence was relatively low until now. Captain Warren Lamar, head of security for the Alliance Expeditionary Pact, put out an urgent call for assistance. If this Thargoid assault is not repelled, it may spread into a full-scale invasion throughout the Witchhead Enclave. Neither Aegis nor the Alliance Defense Force are able to deploy in time, so we ask all independent combat pilots and anti-Xeno squadrons to come to our defense. The Alliance Expeditionary Pact has confirmed that it will offer generous rewards to all commanders who assist with destroying Thargoid vessels. In related news, the technology broker at Bray Landing in the Yuan-Jia system will support pilots by reducing resource requirements to access Guardian weapons and modules. Marlinist faction blockaded by Empire. Pilots Federation alert. Conflict between regulatory state of Aquada due to Sekli's Empire League in the Aquada system has concluded. A Marlinist faction accused for providing recruits to the NMLA terrorist group has been overwhelmed by a combination of Imperial forces and independent pilots. Several megaships were intercepted while attempting to transport large numbers of Marlinist civilians out of the Aquada system. This report was delivered by the Imperial Internal Security Service. We have taken many Marlinist criminals into custody, despite their efforts to shield the terrorists. Some may have temporarily evaded us, but we are confident that we can track and destroy the NMLA cells operating within this system. Our affiliate, regulatory state of Aquada, will distribute the words of the glorious destiny to all who contributed to this victory. The Tujuseki's Empire League broadcast this message to its supporters. Thousands of political refugees attempted to flee the persecution on board megaships. Unfortunately, the Imperial blockade was supported by too many independent pilots, and none were able to escape. Despite being unable to help our Marlinist supporters, we are still to offer rewards at Russia's camp for the brave few who dared to dream of democracy. Imperial scouts are currently searching for many smaller vessels that fled the system and may contain NMLA activists. Engineer reveals link to terrorist groups. Liz Ryder, an engineer based in the Euribia system, has confirmed that her designs for an explosive match those used by NMLA terrorists against Imperial Star Force. Her statement was distributed by Vox Galactica. Under a private contract from what appeared to be the Euribia Latvia, I designed demolition charges capable of delivering a secondary payload. At no point did I know these would be customized to hold Thargoid, caustic enzymes, or used in terrorist activities. Until recently, I had no idea that the starport bombings were caused by modified
System scan complete.
of my design. I have since discovered that my contractors used false identification, and now seem to be untraceable.
Frameshift drive charging.
It appears that the NMLA, or people working for them, infiltrated the Euribia Blue Mafia to access my services. To help clear the Euribia Blue Mafia, which has supported me for years, I have provided Imperial investigators with all the data I have regarding this contract. I urge the Empire to accept that we were all deceived by the terrorists. The Imperial Internal Security Service confirmed that the warrant for the driver's arrest has been rescinded and it is reviewing her information, which may lead to locating the source of the Thargoid enzymes used in the bombs. Admiral Vincent named as Starship One saboteur. Fleet Admiral Lucas Vincent, one of the Federal Navy
Warning. Temperature critical.
Chiefs of Staff, has been arrested on charges related to the destruction of Starship One. The trial of Chief Technician Rory Webster was halted by a plea bargain to reveal who ordered him to sabotage Starship One's hyperdrive in 3301. An update on proceedings was delivered by Malend Walcor of the Federal Attorney's Office. Mr. Webster provided evidence that Fleet Admiral Vincent directly commanded him to arrange for Starship One to suffer the same fate as the Highliner Antares. The orders were allegedly provided on a private channel, accompanied by threats discouraging Mr. Webster's refusal. The trial concluded with the judge summarily convicting the defendant of aiding and abetting mass murder. Chief Technician Webster received a lenient sentence of 20 years in prison, in acknowledgement that he performed criminal acts under duress. The FIA has detained Vincent in a high-security facility, and he has been charged with conspiracy to commit murder and treason. However, the case is likely to take several months to come to trial. There was no comment from President Zachary Hudson, who is believed to be a personal friend of Vincent. A spokesperson for his administration said, "As always, the President has full confidence in our court system to deliver justice." Military strike against Marlinist faction. Pilots Federation alert. Conflict between regulatory state of Aquada and the Dusakis Empire League in the Aquada system. The Empire has targeted a Marlinist faction that is suspected of supporting the Neo-Marlinist Liberation Army. It was recently
System scan complete.
placed into lockdown for its pro-Marlinist stance, during which time suspicions were raised of it having a direct connection to the NMLA. The Imperial Internal Security Service made this statement. The Dudusakli Empire League is one of several organizations that publicly accepted the principles of Marlinism. Our intelligence suggests it is allowing the NMLA to radicalize its citizens into becoming activists for the paramilitary group. Operations to investigate this potential nest of terrorists have been met with armed resistance. Imperial auxiliaries and independent pilots are requested to assist the regulatory state of Aquada in defeating all pro-Marlinist forces in the Aquada system. The Dudusakli Empire League broadcast this message. If NMLA members have been recruited from our people, it is certainly not with our knowledge. The Empire is using a terrorist hunt to justify persecuting millions of ordinary citizens, whose only crime is to believe in Republican ideals. We remain loyal to the Emperor, but are forced to counter this unwarranted aggression to ensure these political refugees escape imprisonment. The stronger our resistance, the more megaships can flee this system. We desperately need help so we can transport thousands of innocent families to safety. Euribia Blue Mafia resists Imperial forces. Pilots Federation alert, for the attention of all commanders. Conflict between Kelton Empire League and Euribia Blue Mafia in Euribia has ended. The Euribia Blue Mafia has successfully fought off an attempt by the Empire to take the engineerless rider into custody. Spokesperson Arne Westergaard made this announcement on behalf of the anarchist faction. This is a victory against the Empire's arrogance. There was never any evidence that Liz Ryder or our organization are involved with terrorists, and this invasion was based entirely on supposition. We are extremely grateful to everyone who helped us defend Liz Ryder and maintain our independence. Rewards to all those brave commanders are available at Awira Flurple Starport. Modules will be placed in storage by the 10th of October 3306. Captain Rocco Gandara of the Kelton Empire League announced. Despite the anarchists having the upper hand on this occasion, I can confirm that we will honor all of our supporting pilots by making rewards available as prelude to victory. Revelation halts Starship One trial. The Federal High Court trial over the destruction of Starship One has been temporarily halted following a proffered confession from the defendant. Chief Technician Rory Webster is charged with
Surface scanned by 50%.
murder and treason, with testimonials claiming that he ordered his engineering
Surface scan complete.
team to sabotage Starship One's hyperdrive systems. Crime correspondent Ethan Takahashi reported for the Federal Times. Despite a spirited performance, highlighting the absence of a sufficient motive, Mr. Webster visibly struggled in the dock last week as the technical evidence mounted. Several jury members nodded when the prosecutor called for the death sentence, should the accused be found guilty of slaughtering hundreds. The judge was
Frameshift drive charging.
about to begin her summation when Mr. Webster's defense counsel announced that the defendant now wished to change his plea to guilty and make a full confession in return for clemency, claiming that he had acted on orders from the top.
Critical age.
There was much discussion between the judge and legal representatives. Eventually it was agreed that the trial would be suspended while Mr. Webster's testimony was taken by the Federal Intelligence Agency, and then a suitable course of action would follow. The Federal Attorney's Office stated that a decision on resuming the trial is expected within a few days. Engineered into terrorist weapons. Pilots Federation alert. For the attention of all commanders. Conflict between Kelton Empire League and Eurybia Blue Mafia in the Eurybia system. Explosive devices used in recent terrorist attacks on 4 Imperial starports have been linked to Liz Ryder, an engineer based in the Eurybia system. The Imperial Internal Security Service published this report. Analysis of station traffic revealed that the explosives were delivered on cargo transports linked to the Eurybia Blue Mafia, a notorious anarchist organization that we have reason to believe is secretly supplying the NMLA. The Eurybia Blue Mafia is protecting demolitions expert Liz Ryder, who we strongly suspect designed the specialist weapons used in the starport bombings. As they have refused to cooperate, a state of war has been declared until she is surrendered to our custody. Our affiliate faction, the Kelton Empire League, has requested the support of independent pilots against any resisting anarchist forces. Anna Westergaard, a spokesperson for the Eurybia Blue Mafia, broadcast this emergency message. This is an outrageous invasion by the Empire. We categorically deny any involvement with the NMLA. I urgently call upon our supporters, and anyone who cares about freedom, to help us defend Liz Ryder as well as our independence. Engineering services are still available at the Demolition Unlimited workshop, with
Frameshift drive charging.
Liz Ryder communicating remotely from a place of safety. Rare goods delivered for Harold Duval's memorial ceremony. Pilots Federation alert, for the attention of all commanders. Memorial preparations complete. A request by the Empire to honor the passing of Prince Harold Duval with rare items has received an impressive response, earning the gratitude of the Imperial family. Shipments of legendary fire opals, Esuseku caviar, Lady Anne brandy and Kamatra cigars were transported to the memorial ceremony at the Imperial Palace on Capitol. The body of the prince will remain in state for another week, prior to reaching its final resting place within the Hall of Martyrs. Pilots who deliver these commodities can now collect their awards to return a station in the full system. Ikenar system permits will be processed and automatically allocated by the 3rd of October 3306. In recognition of this achievement, Gutenmeyer Corporation ships will be available at a 20% discount from the 2nd of October 3306 to the 9th of October 3306. Princess Aisling Duval told the media, "I wish to thank everyone for their kindness during this difficult time. I've taken much comfort from knowing that my father will never be forgotten. For now, I want to make it clear that all efforts to eliminate the brutal terrorists responsible for his death have my full support.
Fuel scooping complete.
I urge every citizen to reject the destructive dogma of Marlinism and work together for a stronger empire. New starports become operational. Pilots Federation alert. For the attention of all commanders. New starports constructed in 10 systems causing increased commodity demand. Several refinery outposts have now been upgraded to starports, following an initiative to improve access to large ships for refueling fleet carriers. Kevanor Space Frames Limited has completed construction of the following Orbis starports. Harper Plant in the Fugin system, Iqbal Hub in the HR4979 system, Stevenson Dock in the Wolf 294 system, Macquarie Landing in the Lambda 2 Tughani system, Hartsfield Plant in the Patriti system. The following Coriolis starports have been constructed by Steel Castle Incorporated. Rorschach Hub in the LHS 4058 system, Chargath Installation in the Chakra system, Nagata Vision in the Galibese system, Riley Plant in the Eta Cephei system, Trevivic Vision in the Ninabin system. As a result of the community drives to build these starboards, there have been fluctuations on the trading market.
Frameshift drive charging.
The availability of several commodities has been reduced, resulting in increased prices and profit margins. The items affected include bauxite, building fabricators, granite, power generators, rutile, thermal cooling units. Imperial crackdown on Marlinists. Senator Denton Patrios has mobilized Imperial military forces in response. Terrorist acts committed by the Empire has declared martial law and a lockdown in Aguadu, Petersburg, and Uluwatu, where the Republican ideals of Marlinism are known to be popular. Imperial Army troops have replaced local security forces, and potential MMLA sympathizers are being arrested for interrogation. Senator Patrios received applause in the Imperial Senate when he vowed, "There will be justice for the murder of Prince Harold de Val, and justice for